And we are live. Welcome to Evolving Always Productions, where we believe in helping people to evolve mentally, physically, spiritually, and of course, financially. And I always have phenomenal guests come on, and they usually help us to do one or the other. I have a wonderful guest on tonight. She could probably help us with quite a few of those areas. I love her. She one or the other. I have a wonderful guest on tonight. She could probably help us with quite a few of those areas. I love her. I think I got a really bad feed, don't I? Tonight, she could probably help us with quite a few of those areas.
What is that?
I'm not sure. Don't I? Yeah, I'm not sure. It's interesting. And is your phone off? Is your phone down?
I just turned it off.
I'm not sure. It's interesting. Okay, hold on for a second. Is your phone down? Turn it off. Not sure. It's interesting. Okay, hold on for a second.
Okay.
I'm not sure what's going on. It's very weird. Oh, I'm not sure what's going on. It's very weird. All right. So what I'm gonna try to do is leave the studio. You just show your beautiful smile, and I'll come back. How about that?
That'll work.
All right. So what I'm gonna try to do is leave the studio. You just show your beautiful smile, and I'll come back. How about that? All right. So what I'm gonna try to do is leave the studio. You just show your beautiful smile, and I'll come back. How about that?
Wow.
Well, hello.
Hey. I closed the tab. I don't know if that worked.
Okay, maybe that's what it was. I
I have
think.
no idea.
I think we have liftoff now. Okay, well,
Wow.
we were going to start again. So this is Evolving Always Productions. If you're new, I really appreciate you coming. We are about helping people to evolve mentally, physically, spiritually, and financially. And sometimes we have phenomenal guests that can help us in so many areas. And this is just one of those guests. Her name is Wendy. She's with Salt Creek Style. She's a friend of mine. I love her. She's a queen of the South, as you'll find when she starts talking. So I just love her, love her, love her. And I really appreciate her coming on. So hello, Wendy. How are you doing today?
Hey, Terry. Thank you so much. That was so sweet. That introduction was so kind. And I appreciate you so much. I love you dearly. And I'm just glad to be here. I'm doing good.
Well, that's what we like to hear. And welcome, Candy. I'm not sure how you say your last name, but welcome. I'm glad you're here. You said you were new, so that's phenomenal. I love it. Yeah. And see, if you want to put some links in at any time, you can. That's what we want. And reseller Wendy, welcome. So we got another Wendy up here, huh?
Yeah,
reseller Wendy. I like that. I like that.
I do too.
And
I
my
love her
husband.
name.
Yeah, I know. And we have my husband. Hello, how are you doing? And I'm sure some other people be coming in too, because we kind of just hopped off of one live, right? And of course we got the phenomenal C, like I said. And
Yes.
see, you got that blue wrench going, girl. What did I tell you? What did I tell you, C?
Go see, go.
So anyway, Wendy, I was trying to use my phone, but now I think I know what it was. It was just the extra link on the computer is what it was, right?
Yeah, I
So I'm
think
gonna pull up my phone in a second because there was a couple of things, and my husband's laughing at me. There's a couple of things that I did want to ask you, but we'll go ahead and just start out. So where are you from originally? We'll start off with that.
I am from a small town in Arkansas called Searcy, Arkansas. And it's a town of about 25,000 people ish, I think. So it's really small. It was even smaller when I was a kid. But that's where I'm from. And our family moved to North Little Rock after that. And then I went to college in Arkansas, in Batesville, Arkansas, at a place called Lyon College. And I've pretty much stayed here most of my life. But now we live in Northwest Arkansas, which we lived here, my husband and I and our son before, moved to Central Arkansas, and now we're back. So there you go.
So basically, you kind of just basically stay in Arkansas. Then that's pretty much correct, right?
The same state, yes. Different areas of it, but yes, same state.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with that, because I will go ahead and say, well, I did leave North Carolina for a little while, but me and my husband have been basically in the same state for a while too. So totally relate. And Arkansas is such a beautiful area. Such a beautiful area. It really is. Oh, and reseller Wendy works in Arkansas. Okay, now this is a small world.
Fort Smith? Oh my gosh, I'm in Bella Vista. I'm like an hour and a half. Oh, do you live in like Oklahoma if you work in Fort Smith? Because
I didn't think about that.
That's cool. Fort Smith is on the state line, so that's why I asked if she said she worked in Fort Smith or in Arkansas. That's cool. Didn't know that.
That would be good to know for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would like to know. If she's in. Yeah, let us know if you're actually living in Oklahoma. That's actually a good question. I would like to know about that. Yeah, but it's a. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead, Wendy.
Lives in Oklahoma. That is cool. Nice. I'm only about an hour and a half from you or so. Cabot. Okay. I know where that is. My son used to work there, and I worked when I traveled, when I was working full time. Part of the time I worked in Cabot. So yeah, nice area. Hometown folks.
And welcome, Nisha. And she'll pop up in a second. I just clicked on her, but it's not showing. Hello. She's known as Geeky Niche, but she also is the grounded entrepreneur. And Nisha, I do believe you have a wrench also. So go ahead and drop your YouTube, as well as you, Bossy. Drop y'all's YouTube so people can subscribe to you and hit that bell. And if you haven't subscribed to me already, please subscribe and hit the bell. I greatly appreciate it. You will be doing me a huge favor, so I would love it. And hello, beautiful Jules. Lisa, you should have a wrench. Let me check to make sure. I'm kind of all over the place because I want to make sure that you drop your YouTube as well. Get everybody. So I'm going to check to make sure that you have a wrench as well. So thank you for coming. And let me check really quick. I will know in a second. No, she doesn't. So we're going to make it happen, Lisa. We're going to make it happen right now. Bam. Oh, and thank you, Brittany. And Brittany's all bossed up. Beautiful Brittany.
Yes.
Yes.
Beautiful, and she's so sweet, Brittany.
Isn't she? She is so phenomenal. And yeah, Brittany, we're definitely going to do that weekly. I think you're right. That's something that should be done weekly. What she was talking about earlier is it's okay not to be okay. And Wendy, we're going to get you in on that too.
I need to, because there are days I'm not okay.
There's always days like that. Yeah. So it's good to know. So you were basically in Arkansas, the state, and like you said, you moved around. So Lisa makes me laugh. So you've been moving around and all that good stuff. So yeah. So basically, you and your husband have been married for a while. So can you tell us that story?
Yes, we met. Oh, it's hard to remember that far back. I'm just going to say we'll be married 26 years in August. So it's been a minute, and we got married. We met at his brother's house. I didn't know his brother, but I had friends that took me there. It was his 30th birthday party, and I was like 27 at the time. So like I said, it's been a while because I'm 54 now. But we met there, and the rest is history. We dated literally about 7 months before we got married, because we just knew that we knew it was what we wanted to do. So, and then 2 years later, we had our son, who is 24. So, and we moved around. He was a public school administrator. He's been a school superintendent for many years, and he was a principal before that, and he started out teaching. And so we moved around a little bit with his job, but yeah, now we're both retired. I'm actually not retired. I'm unemployed, but I call it retired because he's retired. So anyway.
Yeah, y'all are working. We're gonna get into that because
Yeah.
Wendy is gonna share some tea with you guys. And Wendy, me and you are probably gonna end up having to do a separate podcast just because of the snafu earlier. But I love talking to you anyway to hear that Southern voice. So I'm okay with that as long as you're okay with that.
I'm okay with that. You just tell me when to show up. I'll be there.
All right, sweetheart. So basically, what was I getting ready to tell you? So Wendy, I was fortunate enough to meet Wendy when I was asked to join a group, and she was one of the wonderful ladies that was in the group. And I just feel really blessed that I met her. She's just a phenomenal individual, as well as I've met Brittany, who's a phenomenal individual, and C because of this group. And I'm not sure if anybody else is up here yet. They may be in a second, but just some phenomenal women. So I feel really blessed to get to know them. I call them my sisters from other misters.
Yep. I agree.
So yeah. So anyway, that's how that is. And Wendy, she's incredible. I'm going to go ahead give you like a summary of her, and then I'm going to let her explain some things. But basically, Wendy really takes care of herself. She was an actual physical fitness trainer. She did this for years. But also while she was doing that, she also was running about 3 LLCs, if I'm not mistaken. Is that correct? It was 3 of them. Wendy,
Yes.
Is that right? Okay,
That
so she was
correct.
running, right. So she was running 3 LLCs for her and her husband because her husband wasn't able to run them at that time or help her with them. She was also fixing up homes because they flip homes. That's what they do. That's one of the things. So she'll talk more about that in a second. And they were even, I don't know if this was their plan or not. So I'm probably going to pick on you about this, Wendy, but they started flipping boats too. I don't think that was their plan originally. I think it was more so they was trying to find the boat they really like.
Boats,
She'll tell us about that story.
cars, whatever. My husband loves to flip that stuff, and I'm
and I didn't even mention the campers. Yeah, how can I leave that out? And campers. I'm sorry. So we're talking homes, which they still flip, obviously. Boats, campers. And of course, she's doing fashion, which we'll talk more about that as well. So just really incredible stuff that she has got going on. She's a phenomenal woman. I tried to attach her Etsy. So I'm going to go in and attach her Etsy to the chat because y'all definitely need to check out her Etsy, where she actually does custom clothing. And if you look on my Instagram right now, which is just evolving always, you'll see me wearing like a blue maxi dress. It's actually like a t-shirt type dress. And it's so beautiful. She made that, but she just makes so many things. It's like truly incredible. But Wendy, I want you to start talking about your physical fitness. Get us to that and give us a few tips, and then we're going to start talking about a couple of other things. While you're talking about that, I'm going to put your Etsy link up here, okay? But go ahead and get started with that for us.
Thank you, Terry, for that kind introduction and all the kind words. And I'm so thankful and grateful that I met you and all these ladies that have been in this group for the last year or two. It's just been a total blessing. I've worked out my whole life. But when my husband and I met, I was working full time and I wasn't going to be able to work full time, and we didn't feel like start a family also. So we decided pretty early on that we wanted to try to start a family. And so it was something that I could do as a stay-at-home wife. I could train people and teach aerobics classes and that sort of thing. And it wound up staying my stay-at-home mom job for about 12 years from the time I actually got certified to teach fitness classes when I was about 8 days pregnant. I didn't know I was pregnant, but I was. So I was 29. And I taught classes until I was almost 9 months pregnant. It was comical actually to see me out there, doing my thing with this big belly. Anyway, it was funny, but I kept doing it, and I got my certification to be a personal trainer, and I was a manager at a Gold's Gym here in Northwest Arkansas at one point, and I managed the aerobics program, and I've just been doing that I had been doing that. I did it for like I say, till I was 40, 42-ish, something like that. So I did a lot of nutrition counseling with ladies that I trained, because I mostly just trained ladies. That was all I was interested in. I was better at not teaching people how to build bulk. That's not my thing. We want to build lean muscle as women. And so that's kind of what I enjoyed doing. And I did a lot of that. And so did nutrition counseling. I developed workout plans for, all of my clients, and did one-on-one, and then taught fitness classes too. So I enjoyed it, and I still enjoy exercising. I've never stopped. It's something, once you start it, just please don't ever stop. Don't ever stop working out. Do something. And, people have asked me from time to time, what's the secret to keeping weight off and this and that? Is there a diet? Is there this? And I'm like, really, it's just basic math and science. Calories in, calories out. I mean, that's it. That's the big secret. And what you have to do is stay active and balance your life with your exercise, your work, and your nutrition. And it's something that has to be planned and thought about. A lot of times, a lot of people say, I don't have time. I don't want to think about it. It's too much effort. Let me go through the drive-through. Yeah, you go through the drive-through enough, and then you're really going to have a problem then, with your cholesterol and other things. And I'll be honest with you, I have had cholesterol issues, and I believe that I would have had them a lot sooner had I not been someone who exercised regularly, because I'm now on cholesterol medicine and probably will be for life, which that's a genetic thing, I found out. So that's just one of those things, you never know when it's going to happen. But I always told people, every time and even if you don't do weights, at least go for a walk in order to, if you think you don't have time, everybody's got 10 minutes. Okay. Everybody's got 10 minutes. Do something for 10 minutes. There are a bazillion YouTube videos where you can do something to work out. Even if it's a walking workout, if you walk down the street and back, go down, find a cul-de-sac, find a walking path, anything. You have to do weight-bearing exercise. Walking is, but you've got to take care of your upper body too. That's the only thing that increases bone density. And as we age, we all know your bone density decreases naturally. So you have to work to keep it up to stave off osteoporosis and all kinds of other issues that can happen. So good for you. See, you got your treadmill back up today. Yes, that's awesome. That is awesome. And we actually get out and hike about 5 days a week, because we have a trail system that runs right beside our house, the back 40, Bella Vista back 40. It's beautiful out here. And so we hike every day. And that's, there comes a point in your life, there was in mine anyway, that I could no longer really do high impact aerobics. And I loved doing them. But, if I'm running, you better look behind me, because somebody's chasing me. That's all I can tell you, because that's the only reason I'm going to be running anymore. I don't do any running. My body can't handle it anymore. So hiking and walking and all of the good low impact exercises are what I'm about now. So.
And I'm glad Wendy brought that up, guys, because it's really important to listen to your body, especially as you get older. And typically the bone density starts decreasing around 35, right? If I'm not mistaken.
It can.
Is that correct?
Yeah. After childbearing is usually when, you have to really think about it.
Yeah. And so it is really important to definitely stay active. I totally agree with Wendy. I stay active. I know some people do things just to try to lose weight. I use this as an example because really it's just important to stay active, period. And I
Yes,
say that because sometimes the weight won't come off like you think it does. And
that's
there's
right.
various reasons for that. I think I possibly, and I'll know for sure after 6 months, hopefully I'll be able to really come on YouTube and share my story. But I have been working out pretty hard for a while, and I am really not losing any weight. And I think I really have come to the point. Sorry.
Yeah. See, I know.
See, I,
Go see, go.
I love you, see.
Yes.
But anyway, basically, I'm really hoping to be able to share this story with y'all in the next 6 months. And I think Rhonda, my friend Rhonda, hopefully she's still up here. She's kind of helped me realize this kind of, she didn't realize she helped me realize this, but I'm pretty sure that this is what my problem is. I think what my problem is that I don't eat enough. I don't take in enough protein. Especially here lately since I've been an entrepreneur, because I'm like so busy. There'll be times I like forget to eat until who knows. And my husband, have you eaten? I'm like, no, I have not. So I've been really trying to make sure that I have protein shakes on hand, because even as of today, I have not really eaten a meal. So
Yeah, that's not good.
that's one thing. Yeah, it's not. And I've done like a couple of protein shakes, but really, I know that that's kind of my problem. So that's something I'm going to be working on in regards to that. And I think if I get that in check properly, I probably will lose the weight
Yeah.
that I need to lose. But
Yes.
I am a firm believer in definitely staying fit, especially as you age. And another thing in regards for women that's very important, actually staying fit actually helps prevent breast cancer. It doesn't mean that you won't get it. Don't get me wrong, but it
Right.
can help prevent it. That's why it's very important that you do stay physically active, because remember, 1 in 8 women do get breast cancer.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So keep that in mind.
And I will
So,
tell you
oh, go ahead,
sorry,
Wendy. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
real quick. I was going to say another thing that I have told people too is that we had a friend whose dad had cancer, and his oncologist told him, he said, I can tell people how not to get cancer. And I know this is going to sound very controversial. I'm just telling you what an oncologist said. This is just strictly what he said.
Hmm.
He said, if you want to prevent cancer, eat broccoli every day. I said, I can do that.
I can too. So
I can do
I
that.
haven't been doing that, but being that you put that out there, yes. Getting some more broccoli tomorrow. Yes.
Go to the store, girl. Get that broccoli. Get that green stuff and start eating it.
So yeah, and my husband and I actually both love broccoli. We had some yesterday, but did not have any today. So yes, thank you for mentioning that, Wendy. I will be stocking up on that because I need
Yes.
all the help I can get.
Yes.
Definitely. So my husband says, am on it. Yes, dear. Definitely.
Go to the
And
store.
yeah, Lisa says she loves me some broccoli, so it's on. So see, already Wendy's helping us out with our physical and mental,
Right.
because by being physical, it does help you mentally too, guys.
Yes.
The biggest part of working out all the time is, for me, and I'm sure Wendy can attest to this as well, it really does help with your self-confidence. Even if you're not at the body size that you want to be, it really does help you with your self-confidence. You just still
Yes.
feel better about yourself overall when you do that.
Very
Honestly.
true. Very
Mhm.
true.
So Wendy, these three LLCs, talk to us about that, because you was really keeping busy and working out, of course, at the same time, and training people. So talk to us a little bit
Yeah.
more about that.
Whew, yes, I used to have a very, very busy life. Can I tell you? What happened was about 20 years ago, my husband, I don't know how, I cannot remember how, we were talking about this. It started when you asked me to tell you 10 things about myself that most people don't know. And this is one of those things I thought, well, you know what? I've never talked about that before. I've never told anybody. And I need to get this out there so that other people can know that this is an option that can work, But what we did is he got a book, and the title of the book is Rich Dad, Poor Dad.
Oh,
And
I
I don't,
love that book.
okay.
Mm, love
Yes.
it.
And we actually went ahead, and now I have to give my husband a lot of credit for this because I didn't read the book. I said, just give me the Cliff Notes. Do you remember Cliff Notes, Terry?
Yes, I do.
Just give me the Cliff Notes. That's all I want. Just tell me the basics. So he's
Uh-huh.
brilliant with budgeting, and he's brilliant with money because he had managed all these school budgets, as a superintendent. So he knew all about budgeting and that sort of thing. But what we did is we started with one house, one rent house. And the point of the whole thing is you can buy a house, and we did this all with a tax person that we trusted, that knew what she was doing and could, follow the law, help us follow the law and all the tax laws and everything. So we did that. But we would buy a house, live in it for 2 years. Now, this was always a house that needed work, not major overhauls, but remodeling. Okay, a lot of remodeling. I'm the home painter, just so you know. I'm the one that painted everything, like 12 houses or something like that. Crazy number. But you live in it for 2 years, and then when you resell it, if you make a profit, if you have lived in it 2 years, you don't have to pay capital gains taxes on it. If you don't live in it, if it's just investment property and you turn around and resell it and you haven't lived in it 2 years or you didn't live in it at all, you're going to pay capital gains taxes on it. So that's not something that you want to do. So I think by the time our son was 12 or 13, he lived in like 11 houses. And we had moved to Central Arkansas from here. He was 11, and he had we lived in a house, and this was a major financial blessing. We lived in a house that they provided for the superintendent of schools. So we lived in a house for free for 8 years with no house payment. So Leslie likes the book too. Yeah. So see, you know what I'm talking about. This is what we did. But when we were in that house about a year in Rosebud at that school district, our son said, "Dad, when are we going to move? I'm getting kind of bored with this house." I said, we have warped this child. He thinks he has to move about every 2 years now to a new house. But anyway, that's what we did. And also, we were advised that what you need to do if you're going to have rental property is you need to incorporate. And we looked at all the options, and financially for us, the best thing was to have an LLC because we looked at, all of them. And one of the best things is we learned that you never put your own home in your LLC if you have one, because you put your rental property or your other assets, real estate assets or whatever, in your LLC, because if anyone ever sues you, they will try to take everything you have, and they cannot take your home because you cannot be sued and someone take your home and then make you homeless. They don't, that's not allowed. But if you have rental property and it's just in your name and they sue you, they can take all of your real estate assets, everything you have. So what we did is we had at one time we still have 3 LLCs, but at one time we had 3 rent houses, and we had each one of them in a different LLC. And so that's how we protected them. And luckily, that never happened, but it was a good thing because we knew that those properties were safe in those LLCs. So, and we still have 1 rent house now, but at one time we had 3. And I have some horror stories about renters that you wouldn't even believe. And then I have stories about good renters. We had some good renters because we've rented before. So I know what it's like to be a renter and have a landlord. I know what that's like. And we both agreed that we would never have a house for rent that we wouldn't be willing to live in ourselves, because, that's just the way it should be. If I own it, it's going to be livable. I would be willing to live in it. So, but anyway, so we had rental property, and he taught me about budgeting, and I paid all the bills through the LLCs and did all of that stuff. Kept him going while he was working, and I was training people and taking care of the LLCs and raising our son and just getting it done. So I was very busy for many years.
Yeah, I'm gonna tell you, you dropped a lot of gems. I hope y'all was paying attention to it because she is so right. When you do start flipping homes, you do it for 2 years, you live in it, and like you said, go ahead and restore it, which is what you were doing,
Yes.
because it makes a big difference from the tax bracket. The capital gains tax is no joke. So yeah,
Right.
and there's a lot of people doing that, and they still haven't changed that. I think they actually made that a little bit better, if I'm not mistaken. That's
I
correct,
hope
right?
so. Yeah.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
so.
We
But go ahead.
Go
I'm
ahead.
sorry.
Oh,
No, you
it's okay.
said.
Um, we were we had one rent house that we didn't live in. And I mean, when we went to have our taxes done the year after we sold it, I thought my husband was going to get sick because it was strictly investment property, even though we had sunk probably $20,000 in this house and we'd had it for 15 years before we sold it. I think we had to pay taxes because the tax law changed that year. I think we had to pay
Right.
like $16,000 in taxes, and we were just about to choke. But I mean, luckily we had it, so it was okay. But still, it was one of those shocking things because when you sell an investment property at that time, and I don't remember what year it was, it's been 5 years, maybe 5 or 6 years.
Mm-hmm.
They just take the profit and tack it on to your income. Well, that's income you hadn't paid taxes on, and so it nearly, it was rough. That year was rough paying some taxes, but you live and learn. And we thought we would be able to deduct all of the work that we had done on it. But when you have rental property, sometimes if it's a real expensive thing that you have to repair or buy for your rental property, you have to depreciate it out. And if it's a big purchase like a roof or something like that you have to replace, sometimes you have to depreciate those things over 30 years. Well, that's a long
You sure do. You
you
sure
know
do, Wendy. That's a great point.
so
Mm-hmm.
but there's a lot of deductions that you can take, and we had always been advised to keep, because there were times we thought, well, let's pay off the rent house. Well, then our tax person said no, because you get to deduct your mortgage insurance, the mortgage that you pay on it every month, your insurance rate, you get to deduct that every year. So we're like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, we're not gonna we won't pay it off, we'll just keep, because every deduction is vital so that you don't have to pay taxes. And it has really helped with us being a tax break to have rental property and have those deductions that we can take. So it's been a real blessing for us. But I want to tell you, the best, my husband says this, and I've said this too, and I learned this also is true in reselling clothing or anything that you resell. You make your money when you buy it, because that's when you buy low, you fix it up, you take
Yes.
it, you do whatever you can, you make your money when you buy it, and then you flip it for higher, and it's all good.
And you're right. And that's the case when it comes to flipping. That's the case for everything. Homes, stocks. And speaking of capital gains, stocks is kind of similar. So when you get stocks and if you make a lot of money off of them, you need to kind of hold on to them or you'll end up paying more taxes if you sell them
Yeah.
before a 2-year time period. So yeah, it's interesting. You're so right though. Your husband's own point. Totally. And thank you so much, C. C is on point tonight.
C is our
Yeah,
wife.
she is. She said she gonna get that rent and she gonna roll with it. I'm gonna say hello to a couple of people that came in while you were talking, and that's Leslie from A Reseller's Passion. Definitely
Hey,
subscribe to her YouTube. She did drop it up here, so you can. She has a wealth of knowledge, and I love the way she does her videos for YouTube, and she even does Pinterest. So you want to follow her on Pinterest, and Pinterest is a very important platform, by the way, guys. It's kind of underutilized by some people, but Pinterest is really huge if you're dealing especially with fashion, anything that you're doing from a business perspective, and it involves women. you want to have a presence on Pinterest, because Pinterest really is out there and women are on Pinterest big time. And so that's really, really important. So just thought I would mention that. Okay. But anyway, so you brought up some great points about the homes, and I just want to restate one thing that Wendy said that's so very important, and I just want everybody to realize it. In regards to the LLCs, remember they had like 3 of them. She did not put their private belongings, like their private home. I'm sure, like your private car, stuff like that. Anything that they had that was private, that was not a part of the LLC, because if, like she said, if they ever got sued, and the reality is people sue for anything, you never know. So they could have lost that. So they were smart and definitely did not do that. So we're going to talk a little bit about your lake life, lady, because that's how they got into flipping boats. Tell us a little bit about this lake life.
Oh, I'm telling you, my husband loves to flip cars, boats, campers. Last year, right before pandemic, we bought a 15-passenger big van, and got it at a really good price, because he'd been watching YouTube videos on people who have been remodeling the insides of vans for campers, and he was very intrigued by that. So we found this van. We went down to somewhere on the line for Texas and Louisiana. It was right down on, but anyway, it was about a 5-hour drive. We went down there, we bought this van and drove it home. We took all the seats out. There was like 4 or 5 bench seats in there, took them out, and he remodeled that van and resold it in about, I guess it took him maybe a month to do it, but it was a good pandemic project. And he made a good profit on that, because he put a bed in it. You know, we ordered one of those memory foam mattresses. He built a platform in the back of it. He built a little cabinet with a bowl, no running water or anything like that, but it was neat. I mean, we were going to use it, and then he said, "You know what? I see these on Craigslist. Let me just try to sell it." And it was like that. It just went quick, and I think he made about $2,500 on that van. It was amazing. And I said, "We need to find another one of those so you can do that again." But they're hard to find, you know, those kind of that are in really good shape with low miles and that sort of thing. But he's on Craigslist every day, looking at vehicles, looking at campers, looking at trucks, looking at anything that looks like, you know, he can flip. So, you know, he loves.
Well, I think that's good. And what people don't realize too, that when a pandemic hit, camper sales like really picked up, which I know y'all are aware of that anyway, correct?
Yes.
I mean, my goodness. Oh my gosh. Like big time. They picked up. And it's like you said, it's all about, you know, buy low, sell high, or sell higher at least.
Yep. That's exactly right. And I think a lot of times what happened is we would go on a camping trip, and he would pull this trailer, because he did most of the driving. I mean, I pull it some, but he's just very experienced at you know, towing. So he would drive, and he'd get home, and he'd say, "You know, I just don't like pulling anything. I think I'm going to sell that camper after one trip." And he did that like 5 or 6 times. And I thought, okay, so I just need to get used to the fact that if we buy a camper, we're going to take it on one trip, and then we're going to come home and sell it. And that is exactly, that happened last October. We found an R-Pod, which are some neat campers, and we bought it, and we took it out to Colorado in October and camped. Got home, he said, "Well, I'm ready to get rid of it. How about you?" Whatever. Okay. And you know, he did not lose any money on it. It was a really good camper. And anytime you buy something that needs work and you can do the work yourself, man, do it, you know, because you can flip it and make money. And that's one of the ways that we did with real estate, is that we always bought something that needed work. I'm going back to that. I thought I didn't finish my thought on that. We always
go right ahead.
Bought something. It's recommended to buy the smallest, most plain house on the block if you're going to buy one, because everybody else's property values is going to increase yours, right? Because the bigger houses are going to hold their value. So then you fix that house up and you can live in it while you're fixing it up. And that's what we did. And then turn around and resell it after 2 years. And we did that so many times. And we built 2 houses together. And we managed to stay married. So, hey, miracles do exist. They do. We stayed married, built 2 houses. One of them we moved into when our son was 3 months old. And there was no kitchen sink. I did dishes in the tub. Do you know how much I used bleach on that tub every single day? It was crazy. And I told my husband, I said, okay, you hoodooed me once. I will not move in another house that doesn't have a kitchen sink, just so you know. We're done with that.
And Wendy, I'm sorry, but that's funny about the kitchen sink, because we always hear the term, man, they packed everything except the kitchen sink.
Yes. Oh, it was awful. And with the newborn, he was 3 months old. Yes. Leslie said, Thomas sounds like Curtis. Cars and trailers only staying at. Yes. Leslie, you and Thomas need to come down here and see us, or we need to come up there, because I'm not him. Thomas and Curtis they would hit it off, because I'm telling you, he loves to flip any kind of vehicle, boat, camper, whatever.
So vehicles are great flips, because, unlike clothes, I mean, when we get clothes, we're happy if we get maybe 10, 15, we make a little bit of profit. But when you're doing those big flips, I'm telling you, it makes such a difference. And that's why this is such an important conversation.
Yes.
There was something I wanted to say. So a few more people came in. I wanted to say hello to them. One is Quimby. Quimby is driving, so that's why we put her YouTube in. Hello, Quimby. We love you. You know that. So definitely check out her YouTube. She's another person that's really exceptional with YouTube as well, like I mentioned with Leslie earlier. So if you want to really upgrade your YouTube game, you need to check both of those ladies out. They know what they're doing. Yes, they are monetized, and their links are in the chat. And then our buddy Lewis came on, and Lewis is phenomenal. He's actually from Germany. He was originally from the United States. He was in the military. So kudos to Lewis for, his, what he did for our country. We appreciate you, Lewis.
Yes.
And Lewis, I know you should be a moderator, so please drop down. Let me check to make sure Lewis is a moderator. I think he is. No, he's not. Oh my gosh. Well, Lewis, you are now a moderator. Drop down your YouTube. Lewis shares a wealth of knowledge in the Amazon game. He is like on Amazon and eBay, actually, and he does a lot of other stuff too. So make sure you're following him. And remember, Lewis, drop your stuff down. You're a moderator now, so drop your stats in the chat so people can, check you out, because you do have a lot of a wealth of knowledge. So anyway, that's how you get in the camper game. And I know we talked about the boats a little bit. So what was it about the boats again that y'all kept selling the boats? What was it with that?
Sorry, I got distracted on that one too. Yes, the boats. Yeah. It was one of these things where he had a boat when we met, and then got married. Hey, Michelle. And it was a Sea Swirl, and it was an older boat, and we loved it. But it was funny because once we had Caleb and we would go out on the boat once he was a toddler, it was harder to put the boat in because he would back it down into the water. I would hold the boat. Caleb would be in the boat right there with me. I'd be holding on to the boat and the child while he pulled the trailer back up and then came back down. And when you do that, any of you that have a boat, that's tricky. It was for me, and it was a big boat. And so I was like, okay, I'm having a hard, and if the wind is blowing too much, it's hard to hold on to a big boat. And if you've got a toddler in there, it'll just make you crazy because you're so scared that, something's going to happen. So anyway, that was, okay, we're going to get rid of the big boat and get a smaller boat. So we did. We got a fishing boat. And so that was easy to do. And then it was like, okay, well, this one's too hot. It's metal, and it's really hot when you get in it. Okay, so that one didn't work. So we got rid of that one. And we got a different boat, and then it was a ski boat. And by this time, he's older. He's old enough that he can climb in the boat himself. And take care, Leslie. See ya.
Yeah. So she has an Instagram live at 8, and we'll be wrapping up there. So definitely catch her. And thanks for stopping by, Leslie.
Thanks,
and
Leslie.
Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead, Wendy. I'm sorry.
No, that's fine. So it was always something. It was like, okay, now, well, let's get a jet ski. Let's try that. So we got 2 jet skis, and we had that jet ski a long time. But then we're like, well, we want a party barge. Let's try a party barge. Okay, so we sold the jet ski and we got a party barge, and I loved it. But then you have the problem of where are you going to put it? Because it's big. So we had to rent a storage room, and to pull it around is big. It's big too. So it was like, okay, that's too big. Let's go back and get a jet ski. It's just one thing after another. But we had built, in the meantime, we had a house on Greers Ferry Lake in Arkansas, which my mother-in-law deeded us the lot next to hers. And so we had
that's so sweet.
Oh, she is wonderful, wonderful lady. And she deeded us that property. And so we built a house. And Terry, you know what I'm saying when I say sweat equity?
Yes.
Sweat equity. Well, let me tell you how many years of sweat equity I have under my belt, because it's a and we built this house together, but we didn't owe anything on it. And so we spent every weekend, every spring break, all summer long. I mean, it took us probably a year to 2 years to really get this house finished. It was a cabin, but we had it done the way we wanted it, and it was well built, because we had to hire things like the roof had to be put on. We couldn't do that ourselves. So we had a metal roof put on. We had it framed up and the 4 walls put up, and then the roof put on it and the windows in, and we did everything else. So when we sold it, along with being able to flip houses through the years, every couple of years, saving the profit that you make, and then selling that lake house that we had without having to have a mortgage on it ever, we were able to buy the house that we're in now and pay cash for it. So
oh my gosh.
That is the end.
So phenomenal, right? But you deserve it because you was doing all that sweating trying to get the
Let me tell you, my mother-in-law is so funny. She always worried about me doing all this painting, and I've done some crazy stuff up on some ladders to get to where I needed to paint. You just cannot believe. Well, one house that we moved in was really cute, but it was a horrifyingly ugly color of something that was a bluish green. And so on the outside. So anyway, I knew I was going to paint it. Well, I was painting, and it was on a hill. So part of it I could get to real easy, but then the back side of it and one side was really tall because it was on a hill. So to paint the eaves up under the roof, I got up on the roof and I laid on my belly and I painted them like this.
Wendy. So I'm just getting a mental picture of this. So you're on the roof, on your belly, and I know the roof is like wait a minute, I'm trying to do this right. So you're like,
so I'm laying
first if you had failed. My
head
God.
over the side.
Lord.
And you should have seen my mother-in-law. She was there, and she was out there like this, standing below me, 70 years old. I said, Granny, what are you going to do? Catch me if I fall? She said, well, I could at least break your fall.
Oh my gosh, Wendy. I'm going to go back to that in a second, but you're right. Adventures with Victoria. She does need to write a book for real. Oh my gosh. I cannot believe that. I mean, it's so crazy.
I've had crazy.
And I really got a mental picture of this too, because your hair was probably blonde then too, right? Yeah. And see that blonde hair painting the eaves.
I'm hanging on
down. I know people were like, and if it was back in the time when people had cell phones and stuff like that, I know somebody would have caught a video of that one. Oh my God.
Yeah, it was. This is what my husband always says. He says, at least with me, you're never bored. And he has never told more truth than that right there.
But he didn't know that you were doing that, right? He found that out afterwards. Is that a
Yeah, I did
correct
that while he
statement?
was at work. Yeah.
Oh my God. I bet he I can't even go there on that one, Wendy. And then, I told Wendy this before. I told her that she reminds me of Heather Locklear when she had the blonde hair. Wendy's dyed her hair now, but
That
and I
is
feel
so
like she looks
nice of
better
you.
than Heather Locklear. But so now I'm really getting this other mental picture of this Heather Locklear like looking woman upside down.
Treating like this, upside down, hanging off from like chest up, hanging off, just painting.
But
Yeah.
I know your husband was like, "What in the world?"
This is what he does when I do something like that. He just goes.
He was probably speechless for a moment when he got home, right? He was like, I cannot believe you. Oh my God.
Are you
I
trying
love
to
that.
die? What are you doing? Are you trying to die?
Oh my gosh. But going back to what we were talking about earlier, when you work out all the time, you get really, confident, but sometimes maybe a little bit too cocky there. But no, anyway, at least it worked out.
Shimmying up the drain pipe to the roof. Yeah, that's a little, I wouldn't do it today. I can tell you that. Not today.
Oh my gosh. I'm like, you know what? See, you are hilarious. See?
You see?
I love her. And Brittany, thank you so much. Thank you both of you guys. I tell you, y'all, both of you, C and Brittany, I appreciate you guys. Yeah, definitely, Nisha. That is a funny story. I'm probably gonna be like in the bed tonight working on something and just busting out in laughter because I'm gonna have that mental picture in my head like forever.
And my mother-in-law, like my 70-year-old mother-in-law, going, "Don't fall
her apart."
You're not gonna catch me.
But anyway, so after doing all of this, you're managing 3 LLCs, you're selling homes, campers, boats. So what made you decide to start selling fashion? What happened with that?
It was after, I'm trying to think, we were down to one rent house. We were down to our one rent house. And I was working full time in early childhood special ed. And a friend of mine told me about Poshmark. And so, yes, Terry does have a great laugh, Quimby. It's like melodical. Is that a word? It's like a melody. Very, melodious. I don't know how to say that.
Yeah, I think you actually they're words. So yeah, you're good.
I wasn't sure. But anyway, I had been working full time. A friend of mine told me about Poshmark, and she said, "Have you heard about Poshmark?" And I was like, "No, what is it?" And so she was telling me, and she said, "Yeah, I've made about $400 in the last couple of months." And I said, "What? You what?" I said, I want to do this. Tell me how to do this." And so the rest is history. Yeah. So I thought,
And the way you said what, I'm sorry, guys. Some of y'all are going to get this, and some of y'all are not going to get what I'm about to do. What? That's DMX. I'm sorry. That's my older DMX. He does that. He does his rap. He's like, what?
That's right.
So that's our ode to DMX. We do love him.
There you go.
But yeah, I lost my screen. Am I still on, everyone?
Yes, you're on.
Okay, what happened to my screen? I just lost. Oh, there we go. I was like, where are we? So I'm glad we were still on. At least you would have still been up there, the lovely Wendy.
Thank you.
But yeah, so that was a game changer for you. So you're like, even though you're doing 3 LLCs, you're painting homes, you're hanging off the rooftops, you're like, yeah, okay, I can still go ahead and do this, make this extra, extra work.
I can do this. I think I like this. Yeah. And after those first few sales, you're really hooked because it's like, wow, I can make money doing this too. I'm doing this. Doing that.
Oh my gosh, I love it. So the cool thing about it is not only does Wendy get into Poshmark, but you for some reason started looking at fashion and saying, what can I do better? So talk to us about that.
Well, that was something, I always wanted to learn how to sew. And I had a very sweet stepmother, my bonus mom. She was my bonus mom for about 33 years, and she sewed. And I just thought it was the coolest thing that she could make her own curtains and everything for their house. And so I asked her to teach me to sew once, and she was like, "Yeah, I can do that." But we never could get together, and we lived like 4 hours apart, and so once I retired, I told my husband, I said, I really want to learn how to sew. And he said, okay. And so he got me a sewing machine for Christmas because I asked for that. And I just started teaching myself to sew a little over a year ago. And I started looking at things that I liked and that I wanted to wear that I could see, but then I couldn't find exactly what I wanted. So learning how to sew taught me that, okay, well, you can take things and then make them into something that you like the t-shirt maxi dresses and the sweatshirt mini dresses and things like that. I had seen something similar and thought, I want that. That's really cute, but I couldn't find it. Couldn't find it anywhere. And if I did, it was too expensive. I thought, you know what, I'm going to do that myself. So it sort of just sparked, what am I going to do next? What do I like that I want to do next? And so I started making the maxi dresses, and I started putting panels in the jeans to make bell bottoms and stuff like that. So, and I just made a shirt from two of my mom's favorite shirts. My mom passed away in August of 2019, and I have one of her favorite shirts. It has big purple butterflies all over it. And I took a denim shirt that I thrifted, and I cut out panels in the back, and I sewed some of her stuff on there, and I put flutter sleeves on it. And anyway, so I'm doing a lot of that sort of thing right now. I'm glad you have a window too.
Yeah, and some of the people probably weren't up here when I actually mentioned how talented Wendy was. So I'll just mention it again. On my Instagram, if you go on my Instagram, you'll see a post that I did where I'm wearing a blue maxi. Well, it's like a tie-dye blue t-shirt maxi. That's something that she actually did herself. So she created that. She has created a lot of things for, we call our group, our sisters, we call our group Level Up, actually, because we believe in leveling up, and obviously we got a phenomenal woman in that as well, Wendy. But Wendy just does such amazing things. She took a jean jacket, she made it like a piece of art. I mean, crazy. And Tasha, we're glad you came, sweetie. Be safe while you're driving, so don't even worry about texting, sweetheart. We love you. But anyway, she takes jeans, she makes sure she does like really unique items. I love her work. She has an Etsy store that actually C dropped in the chat, so just look for that. She actually put the link in the chat for you, so definitely check it out. And if you follow her on Instagram, her link is up there as well. Hey, drifting by. I'm sorry, and I didn't speak to you earlier. How are you? Yeah, she's actually on Etsy, and the link was dropped earlier. But if you go to her Instagram, she's Salt Creek Style. You can click on her Etsy from there. Thank you so much for asking that, by the way.
Yes.
But so I just find Wendy so amazing because she actually taught herself these skill sets. There's people that, get training and they have to do the patterns. Like my mom sewed, but she did have to use patterns. So, and Wendy's just creating this stuff in her head. I mean, it's just so phenomenal. And you're so right, Brittany. She is super talented. And speaking of Brittany, I did want to share this really quick for people also, because I was talking earlier about upping your YouTube game. Brittany kind of inspired me because she's doing shorts. I don't really know the true lengths of shorts. So in my mind, they're anywhere from like 30 seconds to 5 minutes. That may not actually be correct, but she's done some really cool, creative short videos, and I really like that. So, and thank you for posting it again. Excuse me, C, you are phenomenal. And if y'all aren't following C, I hope you dropped your own YouTube up here, girl. Because you've got the power. So drop that YouTube that you got going on. She's phenomenal. She's got a wealth of knowledge, especially in eBay. And I know still a lot of people are kind of lost on
Yes.
eBay. This woman has it. She has it on
Yes,
point.
she
It
does.
can be only up to, thank you, Brittany, for clarifying that for me. But she's doing a really phenomenal job with the shorts. She inspired me to do a video today. I can go ahead and say it will not qualify as a short unless I do something to shorten it. I mean, it was about 5 minutes, but I am going to post it once I get it all together. So that is for sure. Definitely will do that. And I saw something Quimby said, and did I miss it? Quimby said something. I thought these chats are going fast now.
They are, and
fast.
I just want to say thank you to C and Brittany and
Mhm.
Michelle and Terry, to you for all the kind words y'all said about my Etsy stuff and my creations. I really, really appreciate it. And let me just say this: I can make something; it can be cute, but then when one of you ladies put it on, it is amazing. Like those pictures you put, Terry, on Instagram with in that dress. The dress was cute when I made it, but when you put it on, it was like, wow. It just, I mean, the way you styled it, it was perfect. And I will say this too. C and Tiana, I know Tiana's not here, but our friend Tiana also they challenged me. They asked me to make them things that I've never made before. C asked me to make a one-piece pullover fleece thing to wear, captain, and I had never made one. And she just gave me measurements, and she didn't tell me much else. She said, "This is the measurements." She sent me a picture of something similar and said, "Okay, do it." I was like, okay. And Tiana asked me to make her a sweatshirt mini dress and put pockets in it. I had never. It was a kimono, yeah, a captain kimono.
Right.
I made one for Tiana, and I put pockets. I made pockets for it and put them in there. And so when I get challenged like that, that's always a good thing because I learn something and then I'm able to do more. So thank you, C and Tiana, for for making me learn more because I need to.
And I'm gonna tell you right now. So the gist of this is, you really, really can do anything you put your mind to. You really can. And this woman has shown you. I mean, she's running 3 LLCs. She was being a trainer, hanging from roofs. Yes, I'm gonna keep picking on her about that. Then she decides to take on a task of getting into fashion, but then she's like, this is okay, but really could look a lot better like this. Then she teaches herself to sew. I mean, really amazing woman. And I'm going to be inviting her on again because she's got so much to share. And be looking for a podcast in the near future. Like I said, we won't be able to do this show in a podcast because of technical difficulties we had earlier, and that happens sometimes. But we will be doing one for Wendy because she's definitely worthy of that. And what I'm getting ready to do right now, everyone, because I wanted to share it with you. See, do me a favor, share the outfit she made for you. And I was going to share the one that Tiana did, but now I'm not seeing it. And I thought she posted it not too long ago. It was such a nice piece.
Yeah, it was on hers.
Oh, I got it. I've got it. So I've got the link now. I'm copying the link. So I'm giving y'all the direct link to Tiana's dress that Wendy made. And for everybody else, because I gave a lot of y'all wrenches, feel free to share one of Wendy's originals so people can check it out. But I just posted the one that she was talking about with Tiana. It was really nice. And pockets are really big now. Just thought I'd throw that out there because women are getting back into the dresses. But because of COVID, we still want to be comfortable. I'm one of them. So I'm going to really start wearing dresses. I'll be getting with Wendy. I'm so glad she's a friend of mine, but still I'm going to be getting with her. But yeah, I'm going to be wearing my dresses with my sneakers. Yes, I am.
Me too.
Yeah. Well, everyone, I really appreciate y'all coming out because we're all, yes, Candy, definitely. You're so right. I do love pockets. That's why I really look for that in skirts as well as dresses. I love pockets. But everybody up here that joined us tonight, I know y'all are all entrepreneurs as well as obviously Wendy. I'm going to tell you right now, and so are you, Quimby. And remember to check out Quimby's YouTube. She actually has 2. We posted one, and that was the Grateful Queen. So anything you want to know dealing with reselling, she's on point. I mean, really, she is. And she has the grateful therapist as well, because that is her profession as well. So she's another busy lady. She was on YouTube with me not too long ago, just a phenomenal lady. And she is also on a podcast. But in any case, because time is money and we all are entrepreneurs, I'm going to respect y'all's time and let you go. But, I could talk to Wendy forever because, hey, she's just one of those type of people. She's that Southern charm going on. But anyway, I appreciate y'all so much. And I want y'all to have a very blessed and fruitful night. And Candy, thanks for joining because you were new. So I appreciate you joining, Candy. Please come back. We do this like every Sunday. Thank you, everyone. Thanks for coming out. I appreciate you. Have a great, great night.
Good night.